This is John again. I wanted to post part 3 that deals mostly with R&R of the water pump because a lot of the timing belt videos I've watched didn't really touch on a lot of that. And there's a couple things to be aware of. One is you want to make sure you get your surface clean and get your metal gasket with the rubber or Viton inner edge that faces the water passages in and get everything straight, and you'll slide it on the water pump in on a couple of studs. But you don't want to slide past this cam sensor wire more than you have to because it kind of seems hard on it. And then also I went to 2 Toyota dealerships looking for this gasket because when I pulled the intake to do the starter, which is at the 12 o'clock position, and some of you may have that to look forward to because the drain passages aren't sufficient and the starter can sit in water, especially if you wash your engine a lot. I was able to just use the aerosol 5-minute or 1-minute gasket maker because I was able to set it right down with this still intact. This is the thermostat manifold. But on this deal, I had to twist it out of there, and I went to 2 dealerships and they tried to sell me the wrong gasket. It wasn't quite the right shape, and fortunately the second dealership, there was a service tech or an ex-service tech working at the parts counter that said that he used FIP, which I assume means foam in place gasket maker, and in order to get it to sit down without twisting this, you got a brand new O-ring on here, you're going to want to lubricate that with white lithium or something. And you got to get in here with Scotch-Brite and make sure that it's nice and easy to just slide straight in rather than twist the way I had to twist it back and forth to get it out. Also, after I get the belt in and everything and I can put this rubber hose back on here, this is a coolant passage, I am going to pour some distilled water down in here, and hopefully it'll fill up somewhere to where I can see the level so that the water pump doesn't start dry for the first time, which I think will greatly improve its life. And I think I had mentioned that the water pump looked good, but actually the old pump had a lot of these pink stalagmites from the red coolant mix coming out from behind the pulley. And I'd also read that the weep hole has a chamber on this and a lot of water pumps, so it doesn't show that it's leaking and cause it, people to prematurely replace them. So I was at 98,000 miles and that pump definitely needed to get replaced. I've seen videos where they did it at 128,000, so they were just lucky. Also, I spent an hour looking for one of these 2 bolts. This is where the tension or pulley bracket goes for the serpentine belt. And after an hour of looking down in these holes in the frame and took the battery out, looking under that, I found that after I tried to mock up the timing cover, I had this one up here, which this is a long bolt with the plastic cover. So don't make that mistake. That was probably the most frustrating part of this whole thing. So I hope this helps, and thank you again to the YouTube community. It's been helpful, and I hope I gave back. That was my intention. Oh, also, I mentioned in part 1 I was going to replace the crank and cam seals, but I'm not. The crank seal is totally dry. The cam seals would definitely be overkill to replace. They're rather large, and I forgot to crack the cam bolts when I had the belt in and tensioned, the old belt. So I wrestled with one for a few minutes and just said, nah, I'm going to let him go. I may live to regret it on the crank seal, but I'll be surprised if the cam seals leak. Anyway, thank you. Have a good day.